Now grappling with grout.
Ah!
Ah!
That's the worst way to start today's developer support office hours. My name is Bob, and it's October 20th, the 20th of October, and this is the October 20th edition of OUYA Dev Support Office Hours. Joining me live via the internet somewhere in the Culver City area, Mr. Jerry Jacob.
Good morning, Ouya Nation.
From somewhere in the Seattle region. Hey, you over there, Mr. Tim Groutman.
Hey,
Who's this guy?
Hello.
Our special guest this week is Matt Kahn.
Listen,
Our
today
special recurring guest.
I have something symbolistic. These are the chains of consoles. For the Ouya, you can unchain and be free to create games for anybody and everybody.
That's interesting. Is that
And I got some bondage gear.
cool gear, man?
It was well done.
It's
Yeah.
got
It was well done.
like pink furry stuff in it.
Oh, nice.
Put that out.
Now
Yeah.
people are going to want to know where they can buy that instead of a game.
I think I don't know. Is this a
Can we bundle those? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Physical, digital, read-only memories
Arm
bundle.
chains now available on the Ouya shop with the picture of Bob in his hoodie. By the way, any of you out there in the Ouya world who have not gone to the shop lately, you should check out the awesome pics of Bob sporting the Ouya hoodie. It is the comfort wear of choice this fall and holiday season.
That's true.
Look who we've got our Ouya on now.
Games. Oh, okay. Wow. Hey, Jim.
here he is.
Introducing the rest of our people yet.
Who's left?
I don't think you introduced Matt or Tim.
Well, I did.
I did.
There's
Okay.
Matt Kahn tripping out. In the background is JJ somewhere.
I got all these. Lyft sent me all these posters for no reason.
That's crazy.
So if you need a sign for your office that says "Use Lyft," I got a bunch of giant ass posters.
And if you go to Tim's screen right now, we will see Bob on the Ouya shop sporting the hoodie with all
Whoa!
the face plates you would ever possibly need.
Zip up your game.
Zip it up. I don't know why that's hyphenated.
Wow! And wait, controller faceplates are only $9.99.
It's hyphenated because of there's 3 adjectives in front of the noun, so
No
you have to
adjective.
hyphenate it. I think there's a rule like that.
Yeah, there is a rule like that, but it's not the rule.
But I think you need the hyphen between up and your as well,
Oh.
because it's 3 adjectives about to define game.
No, that's a mandate. That's not a single thought adjective. Trust me. I went to liberal arts college.
Why do they send me all this crap?
So do we have any developer tips from the front lines, Jared?
Tips from the front lines.
Want to talk about receipts?
We could talk about receipts. I may have mentioned it before, but you can customize your receipt messaging to all of your players out there. I'm not sure if you've done this yet, Matt Kahn. I'd have to double check.
Huh?
But you and your receipt, when they purchase the early access of read-only memories, currently only available on Ouya, you can put in a custom message to that person thanking them for their purchase and any kind of other special messaging you want to say to them, like how they're an awesome person.
I can show you that. I can show you the code right now that has it.
Really?
Want to see?
Via the dev portal? Nice.
No, but I can show you the source tree or the whatever. The cool thing is when I go to default here, I'm learning how to code right now. So I go to default. If I go down to the bottom, we have here pre-order, and it says, "Hey, it's turning. We'll go blah 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 blah. You can order right now in the Ouya." And then we give them, "Hey, yes, I want to see more. I don't know. Oh, never." And then people, if he says never, it'll make a sad face. And then on unlock, it'll say, "Wow, thank you. Attempt a pre-order request."
Aww.
So, yeah.
But we're talking about, though, in your email, after you bought it on the Ouya store, you'll get an email
Oh,
that will actually say, you've just bought read-only memories, here's a special message from the developer. And it'll say, Matt Kahn says, you're the best.
JJ, why don't we have that?
You can actually go in and add it without even updating your build. Or I could even add it for you. It's that cool. So anyway, yeah, so you can do that, and if you have multiple games on the platform, you can tell people, hey, why don't you check out my other game? So yeah, so that's something that you can definitely do. And yeah, I mean that's just a quick tip of the day. Also, speaking to the future OTA, if you ever want to put any bundles together, if you've got multiple games on the platform, or if you want to team up with other devs to put a bundle together, so let's say you want to do a bundle, Matt, with Landon, so like the Duck Game Read Only Memories bundle, you could do that.
What?
That'll be coming soon, my friend.
We gotta do a duck game and Super World Carts. Basically, the Turing special.
Yes, there you go. So yeah, so that's coming down the line very shortly. But I'll keep the tips and stuff brief. Do you want me? Do you want to just talk some facts, Bob?
Fact.
Bob is muted, so we'll.
Oh man, I had this problem during stand-up today too. I like gave this full rundown of what I was doing today, and then I just hear James and Guts go, "All right, well, can't hear Bob." I was like,
Oh yeah, that I remember that happening. I just figured you were like, yeah.
"No, ID10T error on my side.
But
Operated a computer error."
but anyway, yeah. So some quick facts for the week. Super Pixel O is still on sale for 20% till tomorrow. We have the Booyah Spooky playlist that is live. A bunch of Halloween appropriate games going through the rest of the month. And with the OTA is still coming very soon in the month of October. We'll tell you when that's coming soon, and be prepared for some more fun shenanigans from Bob and James for that coming down the pipe. So any of you that were sad you didn't see something special for little Chupacabra, you're in for a treat, maybe a trick or two. And the big political elephant in the room is Reagan Gorbachev, currently being shared on Tim's screen by Team 2-Bit, launching tomorrow only on your OUYA for $9.99 with a free demo.
Look at this guy from the darkness.
Here comes Reagan.
So
We'll be doing the voice for each of these guys during this cutscene.
Mr. President, you can be Reagan, Jared.
Where are we?
It must be the militant base. On the way in, I saw a large air duct. I don't know where it leads, but we could squeeze through. Are we going to give it away? Help me escape. I'll free you. This guy's excited.
I forgot my line.
Like I don't. Wait, is he coming back?
Are you replaying him? Anyways, that's the game.
Okay, hang on.
We'll show some more as Tim plays.
I like my Reagan accent. Just sounds like I'm constipated. How do I know it does overdraft?
Could be also Godfather.
Matt Conn.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're giving a little sneak peek here of the final version of Reagan Gorbachev, which might be running at with our streaming frame rate, maybe won't be doing it 100% justice.
Yeah, so we can.
Tim's playing may not do it 100% justice.
Yeah, that's both of those things. So we can show more of this on Twitch tomorrow, eh?
Except we're showing
Is that the plan? Or no?
Bed tomorrow.
Oh,
With Reagan the Fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
But there will be more to be shown. But again, there's a free demo, so you can check out the first 4 areas of the game for
are
free.
you stuck in a room and you can't do anything?
No, you move the chair, get the key. And then I have to pass the key over there.
This is a game about teamwork.
Wait, why would Reagan and Gorbachev be on the same team?
Hey, you guys, Taylor Swift is on.
Oh, great, Taylor Swift. Do you have any questions about Reagan Gorbachev?
Taylor Swift is a fan of OUYA. Very outspoken.
I'm pretty sure one of her songs is about it.
I'm going to select it.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Just came out in.
But the reason why Reagan and Gorbachev were working together is that they were going to the peace talks together, and they were captured by an unnamed militant operation so that the world could go into nuclear chaos. So now they have to break out of prison together to reach the peace talks and save the world.
Please talk.
Taylor Swift is saying that she's the real Taylor Swift. So, Taylor, are you excited about Reagan Gorbachev coming out?
do I pass them the key?
You just bump it through, man.
You don't need to pass the key. Now that you're out, you just hack the computer to get Reagan out.
Oh, okay.
Matthew's asking about larger size hoodies.
Punch any of those guards from behind to give him a karate chop to the back of the neck.
Oh, you can? Okay, hang on.
Bob, I've got a game for you when after this thing.
What do you mean?
There's a thing. We have 3 minutes to name all of the New World Order members.
Easy. You want it in order of when they joined in?
You want to do it
Yeah,
right now?
sure.
All right. You got 3 minutes. Okay, names.
Scott Hall,
Scott Hall,
Kevin Nash,
obviously.
Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man. No.
What's his name?
Buff,
The $1 Million Man. What's his
Big
name?
Buff, Big Buff.
Yeah.
$1 Million Man. Ted DiBiase.
Big Papa Pump.
Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner. Yeah. Buff Bagwell. The other Steiner brother. Yeah, Hulk Hogan was member number 3.
Rick.
Kevin Steiner?
Yeah.
I think it's Kevin.
No, it's Rick, but it's not counting
Lex Luger.
it. This is the original NWO, not Red. Not Red.
I think no, Lex Luger is original.
No.
Sting joined. Dude, type Lex Luger. NWO.
I did.
Sting. Lex Luger. Eddie Guerrero.
No.
Yeah, he came in and then he did LWO.
No.
Look
no.
how many members there were.
No.
Feel free to help me out, Jared.
Randy Savage.
I'm watching Tim bust his ass out of prison here.
Okay, we're almost done. Minute 45.
Virgil.
Virgil, yeah, that's true. The women's champ came over from WWF. What's her name?
China?
No, the Medusa. But she
it's
didn't use her real name because she couldn't use Medusa.
No, that was her thing. Was Medusa? Her fake name was Alundra Blaze.
Giant.
The Giant.
No, just Giant.
Oh, the Giant.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You forgot 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Oh yeah. 6.
Hack or whatever.
You got a minute left.
Oh.
Come on, you said it. You said you had it.
I think you're in trouble, dude.
Buff Bagwell, dude. Oh god.
Who else?
Road Dogg Jesse James. Wait, he was on.
50 seconds. Come on now.
Oh.
Think back. Think back to who was in black.
Oh. I'm stuck.
I'm gonna try to solve this Reagan Gorbachev quiz.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of this. Like, I know Stalin was the one that froze the seeds, killed huge crops, and caused widespread
Oh yeah,
famine in Russia. So, but who were?
It's Gorbachev.
Reagan was a farmer,
Reagan
but
was like a
played-
wasp, and then he became an actor. It's Gorbachev.
Give it a shot.
There's no shot. It's correct.
Headshot.
You suck, Bob.
8 seconds.
You want to see what it is? The names?
Yep. Tap out.
Big Bubba Rogers was Big Boss Man.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
Ugh.
Didn't even let you see it.
Loser.
Tapped.
Brian Adams, Kurt Hennig, Eric Bischoff, Dusty Rhodes.
The American Dream Dusty Rhodes was in NWO.
I guess. Conan. Miss Elizabeth. Nick Patrick.
Oh, Conan. I forgot about Conan. Orale!
Rick Rude, Scott Hall, Scott Norton, Scott Singer, Six.
Taylor Swift is talking about her next new song. To prove to you, my next new song is Welcome to New York. Can't argue with that.
Anyways, that was fun.
Taylor Swift, what's your favorite Ouya game?
I'm gonna let you finish, but
To
Reagan
prove to
Gorbachev is the best game of all time.
Like-
Of all time.
you, Welcome to New York.
Axel's wondering when the next Ouya hoodie will be available outside the U.S. Very good question. Stay tuned.
Keep the questions coming, kids.
I mean, when the Ouya hoodie is available outside of U.S.,
Yeah, and then someone was asking for 2X and 3X hoodie.
do we not have those?
Well, Jared makes them all individually. So
I mean, you can't see the bottom half of my screen, but I'm sewing them basically. On this call.
he has a thimble on. So we did just the tips with Jared. We have Tim Groutman playing the first bit of Reagan Gorbachev. Let me message the Reagan dudes.
I don't
Ronald
want to get
Reagan.
rid of Reagan's sword. It's too awesome. Katana is
Wait, I'm gonna have to mute Matt Kahn in a minute.
great. Okay, so how do you hack red doors? Oh, it's picking with the sword. Got it.
Yeah. Well, you don't just pick with the sword. He just picks a
Matt
lot.
Bishop just passed me a note that said, "How to, this is not developer help." I think he's onto something. So we should probably grok,
Okay.
McGruck is grouting right now.
but the grout is
Yes.
grokking. The
So,
grok-
yeah, so for my segment, I got Construct 2. I made a plugin for Construct 2 so that you can go from Construct 2 to the OUYA, and I made a virtual controller example. In that, the next plugin that I'll do is adding the in-app purchase methods and stuff.
So what's Construct 2, Tim?
Construct 2, here we go. I'm addicted to Reagan Gorbachev. Construct 2, here we go. So it's a visual scripting engine. They have a free version. The free version, you're limited to 100 events, and then they have some other class. There's an indie version, which is, look at the prices. It's pretty decent. $129 for a personal license. Yeah, then you can start doing visual scripting with Construct 2. Let's see. Okay, so what does it look like? This is it right here.
I don't know.
So you start it in Construct 2. I've got a virtual controller example that I've checked into our ODK samples. And then you have these layouts, and I've added controller sprites to the layout. So it has layouts and it has event sheets. And instead of programming, you populate these event sheets. So I've created some global variables, and then I've grouped these controllers. And basically, you can tell what it's doing here by saying, oh, if gamepad 0 is buttoned down, if they press the O button, then I make the O button sprite visible. Otherwise, it goes not visible. And I've done that for all the buttons. And I made the plugin so that it shows when you're looking at these states, you have a drop down for what button you want to hook it up to, and it lists the OUYA button and the Xbox button so you can find them really easy. And so you have access to the button states, and it's using the gamepad API, where you also have access to the gamepad access, and I needed to use raw access, so that's important. So you want to use gamepad.raw access to get the access values for the controllers, and for buttons, I used gamepad button is down. So it has this visual scripting thing. So when you add conditions, I went through and I said, oh, I'm going to use the gamepad. I'm going to do is button down. And then here's where you specify the gamepad. So it's 0, 1, 2, or 3 for the gamepad because it's 0 based. And then you pick what the button's pressed. And then once that's done, then you have that action that event does. And then it's marked as visible. So yeah, so you get an event sheet like this. And it's awesome.
Everything is awesome.
So there's special places to click, like figuring out how to do these else cases. So you start with a blank sheet, and then you say, okay, I'm going to add an event, and then I know I want to interact with the gamepad. Is button down. You specify the controller number, and then if the O button is pressed, so there we go, done. And then that's how you add an event. And then events can have an action, so you can go through add an action, and I've got all these sprites set up on the sheet so I can say, hey, and it's searchable. So you can go, there's the O button.
Second, Tim.
What's that?
Can I pause you for a second?
Sure.
Matt Kane Lewandowski just showed up.
That was some amazingly exciting shit I got to be in the middle of.
Welcome to Construct 2.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to curse in my introductory sort of sentence.
If you're just joining us, Matt Kane Lewandowski has just joined us. We were currently looking at Tim Groutman's support of Construct 2 in the OUYA documentation, this controller example. Who are you, Matt Kane?
I'm Matt. I'm one half of Team 2-Bit with my brother Jake, and we make our Reagan Gorbachev, and hopefully I'm not horribly late to this party. I apologize if I am.
You're reasonably late because I think I sent you the link incorrectly, which is what I do.
Sorry, well, I'm going to blame it on you and claim I never got it, so.
That's fair.
Blame it on me.
What did I miss? What sort of drama? What transpired? Did you guys gossip about me when I wasn't here?
Tim
We
was
played some Reagan Gorbachev.
Yeah.
With some bad dudes. I'm on the second level. Climbed through an air duct.
So there was no interesting or exciting gossip.
Well, we found out that Bob doesn't know anything about NWO.
That's not true.
What? NWO, the wrestling organization?
Yeah, the wrestling organization. We had a challenge to see if he could name the 23 members of the original NWO.
Oh my gosh, the 23 original members?
Yeah.
That would be very difficult.
Yeah. Well,
We also found out that Bob and I do terrible Reagan and Gorbachev impressions when trying to talk through the cutscenes.
Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan,
Yep.
Yassi,
Ted DiBiase.
Virgil, who was renamed Vincent.
That's right.
Six.
Six.
Conan.
Killing it.
Wow.
What? Scott Norton? Was he one of them?
Yes.
I think he watched the earlier part of this broadcast.
I watched a lot of wrestling in the 80s and 90s.
Wow.
It's an even sadder excuse. Nope, even worse. I spent a huge.
Nope, cheating would have been actually more honorable.
But in the middle of the NWO's reign is when I stopped watching wrestling around like 97. So I probably missed out. Like you know how they did that whole split up where they had like the two colored factions.
Yeah. No, but
That was silly.
this question is just
NWO
about the
red.
original. Yeah.
That was when I kind of bailed out. So my knowledge kind of has a huge hole in it, like
Talking
post
about
1990s.
Wolfpack is back, causing mass destruction.
Wolfpack, that's right.
And
Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to bring back the Reagan Gorbachev. I'll show you a little bit or two later. But basically, if you already used it, if you have the gamepad API already set up, made it compatible, you just drop in a couple plugins, and then you're good to go.
Boom.
Now, it's Reagan Gorbachev time.
So, Matt, can you give us just a little, like, if someone was walking by and they're like, what is that?
So Reagan Gorbachev is a two-player top-down stealth game set in a 1980s alternate timeline where you play as both Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev. You use the two characters to work together to battle out of imprisonment and try to find out why the two characters have been imprisoned and what the sort of evolving story is revolving around their capture. But in its essence, it's multiplayer top-down stealth. So you can either play one player swapping back and forth between the two characters, Reagan and Gorbachev, or two-player split screen, where each player controls one of our historical characters. Both of the characters have their own skill sets, which hopefully forces you, in some cases, to work together to actually cooperate, as there's certain roadblocks that only one character can use or can get through using his specific skill set. But yeah, that's the game, Reagan Gorbachev. It's coming out tomorrow on OUYA. We're super duper excited about it because we think it's a fun game. But you guys have probably said all of this already, so I feel like I probably missed all this.
No, it's cool. Did you build?
I'm having a blast. I've also learned a new way to go down an air shaft. Check this out.
Wait, go back to the game. Like, wait, I can't see it. What happened?
Can you not see?
No. Oh, there it is. It was frozen for a second. I missed it.
Well, he spins down the air shaft.
That's right. You won't see that happen in Die Hard.
No, you won't see that happen in Die Hard.
No.
Bruce Willis would never do something like that. But
All
again,
right, I need some help.
Multiplayer top-down stealth. That's probably the simplest way to think of the game, starring characters that are part of huge parts of the last 30 years of world history.
I think it's a great way to teach your kids about history.
Samurai.
Honestly,
Oh, history, right.
I think that if I were a school teacher, I'd pick up this game so I could teach my students through game.
It is strangely packed with a lot of historical knowledge, and it's one of the decisions that we made that even though the premise is somewhat absurd, the way that the game is portrayed is somewhat straight. We don't try to crack a lot of jokes or parody or make light of a lot of what's happening. It's actually packed with a lot of historical trueness and relevance. You know, from the trivia questions that you get between levels to the quotes that are actually, you know, from both Reagan and Gorbachev, down to some of the interactions, the dialogue, which is actually bits of that is kind of paraphrased and culled from actual discussions and dialogues that the two of them had together. I mean, obviously, it's exaggerated and extended to fit into our story world because they were never kidnapped in Iceland. But at a lot of points, we took actual historical dialogue and tried to morph that into our story world, make it feel more accurate if you were a Reagan or a Gorbachev historian or a Cold War historian.
I have a game design type question.
Hit me.
So do you think you sought out to build like a stealth top-down game first, or a Reagan Gorbachev centric game first?
I mean, I think what we originally wanted to make was a game about teamwork, was sort of our overarching goal. When we first set out making Fist Puncher, that was probably the game that we made before Reagan Gorbachev was Fist Puncher, and that kind of stemmed from a similar idea in terms of gameplay mechanics, that we wanted to make something multiplayer, two-player cooperative. And a lot of that is just because Jake and I are brothers and have spent our whole lives playing games together. And I think we were even joking about this at IndieCade, where I was telling this anecdote with somebody, but when we were kids and would go and buy NES games, if it wasn't a multiplayer game, we just put it back on the shelf, because it basically meant that we'd be fighting over the controller. So we've always had that as one of our guiding principles, making multiplayer games. And Reagan Gorbachev, more specifically, we wanted to make something that was about, at its core, cooperation. And we had experimented with a bunch of other ideas for character sets. We actually had some pixel art mock-ups of the Pope and of like Mother Teresa. There was other historical icons or historical characters that we were tinkering with early on, but I think we settled on Reagan and Gorbachev just because they're so recognizable. They're such memorable individuals that even for younger generations, you know, obviously I'm a slightly older guy that grew up in the 80s, so they were constantly ever present when I was a kid. But I think even younger generations, they're figures that still resonate and have a lot of importance for where we are in terms of world politics. Kind of a long-winded answer, but yeah, basically we started trying to make something about teamwork. And how exactly we landed on Reagan Gorbachev, it was a bit of trial and error and throwing darts at the wall with trying out other figures from history.
Hmm. So what were some, like, as you guys were growing up, of those types of cooperative games that you could agree on to purchase and then enjoy?
You know, one game, it's kind of funny because a lot of people, I think the first game that they're reminded of when they see Reagan Gorbachev is Hotline Miami. But the game that if you take a few years back in the video game kind of historical timeline, the game that really influenced this a lot is Gauntlet. It's a game that we were huge fans of, both the arcade version of Gauntlet and the old NES Gauntlet. And probably, even though for younger, more modern gamers, it probably is going to call to their mind, again, Hotline Miami right away. I think the game that really, truly more inspired us was Gauntlet. That two-player mechanic that Gauntlet had, where you could either cooperate and work together to beat the levels, or you could really just be a jackass and collect the food and the items and kind of leave the other guy high and dry. And we were kind of going for a little bit of both of that, both that you could cooperate at times and you could kind of mess with the other guy, but ultimately, again, we did settle on that mechanic where both characters have to finish the level. If either person dies, the level is over. We wanted to avoid the type of fist fights that we got into when we were kids playing those multiplayer games, but yeah, definitely Gauntlet, all the old brawlers. You know, you can see the influence when we made Fist Puncher. We played a lot of Double Dragon. A lot of the old multiplayer arcade games like X-Men and Avengers.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
What's that?
You play Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
No, I haven't actually. I'm familiar with it, but I never got into it.
Oh,
You
that's
play
right.
Sunset Riders on Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Sunset Riders, ooh.
How about Super Contra? I can see like one brother lives, the other one's waiting forever for a turn, and then battle ensues.
During that era, we were more Genesis players during the 16-bit era. And I think even though we don't make games anywhere in this vicinity, we played a lot of multiplayer sports games. I don't know if anybody played like the old Joe Montana Sports Talk Football or the old games.
Every day.
Ridiculously silly, like maybe 16 voiceover phrases that were said over and over and over throughout the game. But it's kind of a side effect, I think, when there's two people in a household who are passionate and in love with video games. That there's only, when we were kids, there was only one screen. We didn't have mobile devices, so there was one game system and one screen. So it was either going to be fist fights or you found games that two people could play together. So for us, we always just gravitated towards multiplayer games.
Fortunately, you avoided the pitfalls. I think my sister and I got in so many fights playing Akari Warriors on NES.
Oh yeah.
That scrolling up shooter game, because you could get someone like stuck behind a wall forever until a missile took them out, or behind a rock, or someone gets the tank, the gas, and then one doesn't. That was just painful.
Yeah, and that's a thing that Gauntlet was really good at too. That even though ultimately you're trying to work together to beat the levels, you could, somebody could be down on life and about to die, and you could, jump in front of them and grab the food and make sure.
Yeah.
And that was something that originally we played with a little bit, but again, ultimately we wanted to really force that cooperation. So if you're not trying to make sure that your partner stays alive, the level's just instantly over. None of that BS where, you can kind of force one character, one player into their death while you just go march forward and collect the glory or whatever the case might be.
I saw what you were trying to do there, Tim.
I thought he was gonna die on the other side.
It wasn't close enough.
Anticipate.
You can do it. So I have a couple of questions, Matt. So do you do some of the programming too?
Yeah, we both program. I guess I'd consider myself lead programmer. Sadly, I don't like.
So what engine did you use?
But what's that?
What engine did you use for Reagan Gorbachev?
We wrote this in. We wrote it in Unity, and all the scripting is done in C#, which was a little bit of a move away from. We had been working in XNA, making games for PC and Xbox using the XNA Microsoft tool set and game engine. This was the first really big effort that we made to make a full and complete game in Unity. So there was a few pitfalls. Just anytime you move over to a new engine, there's some ups and downs to it. But for the most part, Unity's great. Just like everybody probably knows, anybody it's Unity, it's great.
But for your XNA games, have you tried Monogame yet?
We use Monogame only in that we hired someone to do the Monogame port of Fist Puncher, but I haven't dug too deep into Monogame. I set up an installation on my development computer and tinkered with it for like a weekend.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you can pretty much
have
your XNA project. It ports right over.
What's that?
It pretty much ports right over. You can even use the same content project, and it's the same API, so like
right
one-to-one, making it pretty easy to port.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just what you get used to too. I know when I was writing an XNA and I was comfortable with it and loved it, those initial kind of bumps that you hit moving to Unity, you have that mindset of like, how come this isn't done this way? How come this isn't done the XNA way? And now I think I'm already at the point where moving away from Unity, since I've been developing in it now for the last year and a half, it's like, I don't want to move away from Unity. No, it's just what I spend most of my time in, and now that I'm comfortable with it, I'll probably stick in Unity. But it is nice to have something that's platform independent, and I think obviously that's for game development because the market changes so rapidly now. That's almost an essential. You have to have something that's has some type of platform neutrality, or you're going to find yourself high and dry when your game comes out 12 months after you start it, and the system that you were developing it for is no longer a viable way to make money. But that's all non-interesting market talk, I guess.
So the audience for this show, I mean, like a handful of people generally catch us live because it's such a weird time, but typically like a couple hundred people will watch it over time, like in a short amount of time. But they're generally like beginner programmers,
Right.
who you know, are asking like the beginning questions. So do you have any just sort of general tips for those types of people?
Yeah, you know, a couple tips that I would, the two things that I would recommend that I've found really helpful is try to find other developers locally. I know that can be hard if you're living somewhere that's rural or somewhere where you don't have a big tech scene, but I think the number of people who are making video games is growing so rapidly that even in smaller towns, you're likely to find some other people who are interested in it, and just being able to foster or create a community where you have support for game development that isn't just a remote community, but people that you can actually meet up with. It's one of the things that I really benefit from here in the Bay Area is we have a big community of indie developers. We have frequent meetups and little get-togethers, and it helps just to have other people that you can talk to face who are going through the same stuff. So no matter where you are, try to find meetups, you know, whether it's like an IGDA or if you just put them on yourself, just like post something on Wikipedia or on on Craigslist, or go on, you know, wherever it might be, or at your university or your high school or whatever, and just find other people who are doing it. The acceleration of your development will go so much more rapidly if you have other people you can bounce ideas off of and talk to firsthand. So I'm a huge advocate of that. Find game dev meetups. Number two, I would say probably the biggest mistake that I see beginning developers doing is that they make games that are too big. Whatever your first game is, just make something super, super tiny, because I think the feeling of accomplishment that you'll get from actually finishing something and that feeling of sort of pride and accomplishment will far outweigh like taking on something more complicated that you get 1/10 of the way done. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, don't try to make Mass Effect for your first game. Like, make a clone of Pac-Man or Space Invaders or Tetris or Angry Birds or something, or, you know, or Flappy Bird or something like that. Take something super simple for your first game and just try to get something done, because you'll find that the positive energy that you get from jamming out a game in a month, even if it's something super simple, will last a lot longer than, you know, being stuck in the trenches trying to make some massive, sprawling space opera. So those are my two big pieces of advice. Make something small, find other developers to meet up in person with.
That's awesome.
Hope that helped.
On that subject, are you going to hang out with me and Matt Kahn at the next Hood Slam?
No, you guys are punks. At the next what? I don't even know what it is.
Hood Slam? What's Hood Slam, Matt Kahn?
I don't even know what Hood Slam is.
Hood Slam is a professional wrestling thing. It happens in Oakland once every month, or sometimes twice a month, and it features video game characters and silly caricatures. So you see like Ryu and Ken fighting and Scorpion. They also have like
This sounds awesome.
Got Rick, the Stoner Brothers, and
HoodCon?
what?
HOOD?
Hood Slam.
Hood Slam. The website is birdswillfall.com.
Okay, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's weird.
So we should meet up at the next Hood Slam.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to WrestleMania next spring?
I'm up for tickets.
Wait,
It's
you're
gonna be right in our backyard.
Bob, the tickets you got are not real. They haven't sold individual tickets yet.
Yeah, they did.
They haven't.
Yes, they have.
Nope.
Oh, their WrestleMania tickets aren't on sale yet, are they?
No, they're not.
I'm confused.
No, Bob is wrong, like always.
Well, then I got robbed.
Wait, did you buy them like on the street? It's some guy come up and be like, WrestleMania tickets,
Well,
son.
it was like on the internet street.
The internet street. Yep, I hear you. The mean
Great.
streets
So you got tickets for like the correct seats, but it's for the day after WrestleMania when they're gonna have like
It's
The
a verified
of-
site. It's a verified site with like nosebleed
It's
seats.
technically correct because they'll still have the WrestleMania like stuff up in the stadium, but it won't actually be happening. So it's still technically right.
Oh man, a fool and his money, you know. That's just what it is. But
Bob.
what? Thank you.
Yeah, I thought they were not on sale yet, but I could be totally full
Not
of
on
this.
sale.
That's what I thought. I thought they were not on sale yet.
No, Bob is just, I don't know, fooling his money.
Because I want to go to this WrestleMania. I've never been to a WrestleMania, and it's right in my backyard.
I know. I'm working out with Darren Young to do some sort of game thing.
Yeah, they're totally available.
StubHub is selling them.
Do you guys Google ever?
Are they selling them?
They're not. It's
What is going on? We need an answer.
Google, man.
StubHub is selling tickets. There's no way that StubHub is as big of a thief as whatever site Bob was buying things from.
That's a verified site. I didn't buy it from some random site.
Verified it.
I don't know, a bunch of websites.
Individual tickets haven't gone on sale yet.
Dude, what are you looking at?
Well, now we know what the best thing Bob ate this week.
Tuition table this discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're way off topic, but
But I mean, we're wrapping up, so it's cool.
I'm trying to figure this out here.
We generally like circle around.
We have to try to finish naming all the members of the NWO. Where it comes back to.
Are you playing any games currently, Matt?
For me?
Yeah. No, other Matt.
No.
Yeah, actually what I just bought the other day that I really like is Helix on iOS. Has anyone else seen this game?
Mm-mm.
I've not. No.
It's a really simple little old school arcade game. I'm trying to find the website because I just looked up the guy who made it. He made drat. I feel like I'm failing in my big chance to promote some other indie developer. I can't think of what the developer's name is. It's a little old school arcade game where the goal is you have this little entity, your little icon, and you circle these kind of villainous characters on screen. So it's like a shoot 'em up kind of, but your method of attack is drawing circles around all the enemies, and then the screen slowly gets more chaotic and hectic as you play. I saw a bunch of people buzzing about it on Facebook and the Twitter, so I went and bought it, and I have to say Helix is the game that I'm currently super into. I wish I could find it, but Googling Helix really quickly isn't getting me anything except for some stupid TV show.
I think it's by Michael Brow.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think it just came out last week. I highly recommend it. It's $3 in the App Store. That's the game that I'm currently fixated on. I think a lot of my game time in the last couple of years is I tend to focus more on much smaller arcade-style experiences. If you're looking at the OUYA console, the game a week ago that I was really into that I had not played was Hard Time.
Hard Time's a good game.
So fun. That was one that I spent a couple weekends playing that I don't know when it came out, but I had gotten so tied up in development that I try to block myself off from playing any new games. So I'm not sure when that came out, but super duper fun.
That's Matt.
I was driving a motorcycle and I crashed it into a vending machine and everything started on fire.
We were just talking about bundles will be coming to OUYA soon. Hard Time and Fist Puncher might make for a good bundle
That's a good
down the
bundle.
road.
Yeah, but I didn't know much about M. Dickey. Is that the developer? I did a bunch of research on him too and his history of making wrestling games. He's quite an interesting character.
Yeah, check out Wrestling Revolution and
Yeah, I played that too. That's a fun game too.
yeah, it's good stuff. He just added Wrestling Revolution 3D. I think it's like more of a free demo of the full version. Just live the other week, and it's good stuff. Takes it back.
If anybody hasn't played Hard Time, I recommend that too because it's absolutely wild. It's super fun.
Awesome. Well, we're almost out of time. So what we do, Matt Kane, is in the last 2 minutes of the show, we go around the room and we talk about. Well, actually, Tim should probably answer this technical question. Can you recommend a resource for more technical specific things like help with a bug? For example, I'm having trouble working through an issue with zooming my orthographic camera. It causes horrible texture issues using libgdx.
Right. So you just email me about that T Grotman at Ouya TV, and it could be a filtering issue. And then another person that's really good at libgdx is Philip Royer, and he would probably have some tips because he did that in Super Pixelo.
Cool.
Super Pixelo.
Okay, cool. Well, okay, so then let's go around the room. I'll let you go last-ish, Matt Kane, so you...
I don't know what we're doing, so I'm going to have to wing it. Go!
This is the food game. Okay, so each person says the best thing they ate in the last week, starting with Mr. Jared Yeager.
All right, I'm going to go with. I had some good food this wing this weekend, but I think my favorite thing was right down the street from our Ouya office. This really just amazing soup and salad place. They're doing this pumpkin soup pretty much all month long, and they add in like a little bit of curry powder in there, and it's like some turmeric and stuff, and just some light spices. And there's some chunks of pumpkin in there and some pumpkin seeds, and it is just maybe the best pumpkin soup I've ever had. That was fantastic.
Good submission. Mr. Matt Kahn?
You know, I don't think that it's offensive to say that a lot of people like pumpkin. JJ loves his pumpkin spice, and he's not afraid to say that.
That is true.
And
my pumpkin candies.
Have you been coming under some fire for your love of pumpkin spice?
Yeah, JJ has been compared to like an LA white girl.
Yeah.
Because he's always like, pumpkin spice! And JJ doesn't usually get that jazzed about anything in life, so.
Yeah, I do actually like walk out of the door screaming that sometimes,
Yeah.
waving my hands around.
JJ actually had to be hospitalized for insanity.
So your submission this week is a big pile of pumpkin spice?
Yeah, well actually, I took JJ to a pumpkin patch, and he tried to eat the pumpkins like raw, and we got kicked out of the pumpkin patch. Actually, that was what started the riots. I don't know if you saw those videos from the pumpkin patch. If you YouTube pumpkin patch riots.
That's also why I was hospitalized.
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it happened in New Hampshire or something.
Yeah, we were over in New Hampshire, and JJ went crazy, and well, now there's all these people who've been hospitalized.
Okay, Tim Groutman.
All right, I'm a fan of pumpkin spice eggnog. That's some good stuff there. Favorite game this week is this Magic Rampage game. It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
Cooking wise, I made an Angus burger, one of those super lean, 97%, whatever. And really, the trick to make a good one of those comes down to the spatula. I've got this awesome wooden wok spatula, and that's how you make awesome stuff.
Good to know. I had what did I do? I made kale. It was good. Okay, you're up, Matt Kane.
Well, I want to be controversial and say that the most disgusting thing I had in the last week was a pumpkin spice latte. I think anybody that falls for that pumpkin spice crap is a monster.
Probably because there's no
Thrown
pumpkin.
into a pit or into the ocean. But I don't know. I'm being silly. I didn't get pumpkin spice. I'd never tried a pumpkin spice latte, so I went to Pete's last week and tried one. It was too sweet for me. All I tasted was the sugar in it.
All I know is the sales of your game have gone down from white women in LA.
Pumpkin spice. I'm one of those people on the other side of the pumpkin spice fence. I don't get it. The best thing I had though was this morning. I had a blueberry millet muffin from the Cheese Board here in Berkeley.
Ooh.
Where you get amazing.
Oh, that's right. You were
baked
talking about the cheese board. That sounds so good.
Blueberry millet muffin. Maybe I'll try the pumpkin spice latte again, but my first experience, I thought it was pretty gross. I don't know. That was a Pete's one. I don't mean to rag on Pete's because I typically like Pete's, but.
Now there goes our sponsorship.
Pete's out! Pull out!
Ouya Dev Office Hours presented by Pete's. No more.
Dude, why didn't you warn me? I must be missing something. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the pumpkin spice.
I think it depends on like the coffee shop you go to. Like, I haven't tried Pete's, and I know that Starbucks has a really sweet one too. But there was one that I tried in LA that like really downplayed the sweetness of like the cinnamon and crap that they put in it.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I want. I was hoping it would be more like I taste the cinnamon and the nutmeg, but at Pete's it was like it tasted like a flavor syrup, like just syrup and sugar was more what I tasted. And maybe it was because I had the wrong expectations. I was thinking it was going to more taste like a coffee chai. And it didn't really.
So I'm gonna give the win to Matt Cain for coming on and showing us Reagan Gorbachev. Second place to Jared Yeager. As always, he has amazing descriptions of whatever it is he's eating, even if it's pumpkin related. We need to come back next week to finish Mr. Groutman's demo of the Construct 2 support that he's been working hard on.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is, in the show notes, I'm going to link a couple different intro videos about how to get started. Because really, you're missing the part about how you can export straight from here to the OUYA, and it's super easy.
Spoilers, man, for next week.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go because someone just brought in sandwiches and I want to eat it.
Wait, before you go, you should mention that tomorrow is the final day to submit for the IGF.
That's a great point.
That's right. That's important. We just submitted this weekend. Everybody submit to the IGF.
Cool.
Submit your dingus.
Nice. So yeah, then submit to IGF right now. Just stop doing everything.
And then tomorrow, download Reagan Gorbachev.
That's right.
And
Tomorrow's
fist
our
punch
game. It comes out.
read-only memories.
Yeah. Cool.
Buy these games or else.
Thanks for hanging out with us, both Matt.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Cool, thank you.
Everybody in the NWO.
For Jared Yeager, Matt Cain, Matt Kahn, Tim Goblin, myself, and Matt Bishop. 3 Matts on this show is awesome.
Yes.
Bye, Internet.
See ya.